The spirits forgive nothing. The child of the river will return.
The river never forgets. The debt must be. Mama, I must go.
The illusion of peace. Weeks passed after the terrifying night when the mermaid mother reclaimed her child and swallowed Okong in watery justice. The Eddy River flowed steadily again, its waters clearer than they had ever been, fish returning in abundance, women filling their pots with ease. The villagers whispered to one another, "The curse is broken, the spirits have gone back to rest." Children played once more by the riverbanks, splashing without fear. Hunters roamed the forests without offering sacrifices. The men even joked around fires that perhaps the spirits had grown tired of punishing mortals. But Etim, the old priest, knew better. His bones ached with warnings, his dreams thick with visions of drowning. At night, he saw flashes of fire in water, eyes of rage peering up through rippling surfaces. He warned them, the spirits forgive nothing. They only watch. The debt is not yet settled. But few listen. Chem's burden. In her small hut, Chem struggled to rebuild her life. With Okong gone, she carried the shame of widowhood. Some villagers whispered behind her back, blaming her for not stopping her husband sooner. Others pitied her, offering small gifts of yam or maize to keep her and her children alive. Yet Chem was haunted. Each night, as she lay between her children on their raffia mats, she heard soft splashes outside, though no one fetched water at such hours. Sometimes she swore she heard a baby crying at the river, the same haunting cry of the mermaid child. One night, she awoke to find her daughter Afia gone. In panic, she ran outside and found the little girl standing barefoot at the edge of the river, staring into the glowing water. "Afia!" Chem cried, rushing forward. She seized her daughter's shoulders. "Why are you here?" The child blinked slowly, as if in a dream. "Mama," she whispered. "She calls me. She says I am her sister." Chem's heart froze. She pulled Afia away from her, clutching her tightly. From that day forward, she forbade her children to go near the river. But the whispers never stopped. The greedy elders. One evening, a group of village elders gathered in secret. Though they had bowed before the spirits weeks ago, greed burned hotter in their hearts than fear. "Did you not see," one whispered, "how the river glowed when she held the child?" "Fish are more plentiful than ever," another said. "Perhaps there is wealth hidden in the water." "Okong was a fool," a third muttered. "But if we honor the mermaid in our own way, maybe she will reward us." So they began their secret offerings. They poured palm oil into the river at night, sacrificed fowls, and prayed not for peace, but for riches, land, and power. At first, it seemed to work. Their farms grew fertile, their nets heavy with fish. But with every gain, their eyes grew darker, their dreams restless. Etim warned them, "You are not honoring the spirits. You are bargaining with them, and no mortal can win a bargain with the river." But again, they did not listen. Strange happenings. Soon, the village began to change. Men walking by the river reported seeing pale hands rising from the water, beckoning them closer. Children playing nearby were dragged by unseen forces, only saved when mothers rushed to pull them back. Livestock disappeared, only to be found days later drowned near the banks. And then came the singing. At night, from the river, voices rose, soft, haunting, beautiful, yet filled with sorrow. Women swore it was the mermaid mother and her child. Men, half mad from drink, claimed the voices promised them gold if they would join the river. Fear returned to the people, but greed kept the elders blind. The marked child. One evening, Afia, Chem's daughter, fell sick. Her body burned with fever, her eyes glowing faintly in the dark. When Chem laid her in cool water to calm her, the girl's skin shimmered as if covered in scales. Terrified, Chem rushed to Etim. The priest examined the girl, his face grim. "This child is marked. The river has chosen her." Chem fell to her knees weeping. "Take it back! I cannot lose her too!" Etim shook his head. "The curse passes like blood. Your husband stole the child of the river, and now the river will claim one of yours. It cannot be undone." Chem screamed, clutching Afia to her chest, but the child only stared at her mother with calm, glowing eyes and whispered, "Mama, don't be afraid. The water feels like home." The river demands. That night, the Ete River rose without rain. Its waters overflowed banks, swallowing paths. Villagers climbed trees and huts, screaming. From the midst of the raging flood, the mermaid mother appeared again, her child by her side. Her eyes glowed with fury. "Your greed has not ended," she thundered. "You poured oil and blood into my waters. You seek wealth where you should seek peace. You dishonored my loss by worshipping me with lies. For this, I demand what is mine." Her gaze swept the village until it fell on Chem, who held Afia tightly in her arms. She pointed. "That child belongs to me." The villagers gasped, horror gripping their hearts. Chem shook her head violently. "No, she is mine." But Afia stirred in her arms, glowing faintly, whispering, "Mama, I must go." Chem's scream pierced the night. The priest's last stand. Etim rose, planting his staff into the flooded ground. "No, spirits of the river, take not the innocent. If punishment is due, let it fall on those who sinned, the greedy, the liars, the ones who bargained with you in secret." Lightning split the sky. The elders who had poured oil into the river fell to their knees, their mouths foaming, their bodies dissolving into water like a Kong before them. The mermaid's rage softened slightly, but her eyes remained fixed on Afia. "She carries my mark," the spirit said. "Her blood ties her to me. Whether now or later, she will return to the river." Etim fell to his knees, exhausted, tears streaming down his face. "Then let her grow. Let her live with her people until her time comes. Do not take her now." The mermaid's eyes burned for a long moment. Then, slowly, she lowered her arm. "So it be. But when she comes of age, she will belong to me." With that, the waters receded, the mermaid and her child sinking beneath the river. Aftermath. The flood withdrew, leaving the village ruined, crops destroyed, huts broken. The bodies of the greedy elders were never found. Chem held Afia tightly, her tears endless. The girl smiled faintly, touching her mother's face. "Don't cry, Mama. I am not afraid." The villagers murmured among themselves. Some pitied Chem, others feared Afia, whispering that she was no longer human, but half spirit. Etim gathered them, voice weary but strong. "Remember what you have seen. The spirits do not forget. Teach your children to honor the river, to never take what is not theirs, for the curse has not ended, it only waits." The illusion of peace. The Eti River flowed as though it had never dried. Its surface glistened beneath the moonlight, reflecting stars like scattered diamonds. Children laughed once again on the banks, splashing carelessly, their mothers calling warnings, but smiling with relief that water had returned. The men fished in abundance, nets overflowed. The fields grew green with rice, cassava, and yam. Goats multiplied, chickens laid more eggs. The villagers began to whisper, "The curse is gone. The mermaid has returned to her world. The spirits are satisfied." But Etim, the old priest, did not share their joy. His bones ached when he walked near the river. He dreamed of drowning every night, visions of hands pulling him down, of silver eyes in the dark. When he woke, his mat was always damp with water, though he had no gourd near him. He gathered the villagers one evening and warned, "Do not be fooled by the calm. The river forgives nothing. It remembers. It waits." They listened politely, but shook their heads when they left. The old man was fading, they thought. Perhaps his mind was gone with age. Chem's haunted nights. In her hut, Chem still lived under the weight of sorrow. Her husband Okong had been swallowed by the river, punished for his greed. She carried his shame alone, though some pitied her, bringing firewood or baskets of yam. Others whispered, calling her family cursed. But what haunted Chem most were the nights. She would lie with her children, Afia and Mon, listening to the soft crackle of the dying fire. Then she would hear it, a faint sound from outside. Splash, splash, like a child's hand playing in water. Once she rose and peered through the doorway, and there, at the edge of the moonlit river, she saw a shadow, small, too small for an adult. She rushed forward and found Afia, her daughter, standing barefoot, her eyes glazed. "Afia," she cried, seizing her. The child blinked slowly. "Mama, she calls me. She says I am her sister." Chem trembled. She pulled Afia away, holding her tightly. From that night she forbade her children from going near the river, but she could not forbid the dreams. Afia often woke humming lullabies no one had taught her, songs that rose and fell like waves. Sometimes Chem swore her daughter's skin shimmered faintly in moonlight, scales flashing briefly before vanishing. The greedy elders. While the village celebrated peace, some of the elders were restless. They remembered the night the mermaid rose from the waters, glowing with terrible power. They remembered how her baby shone like treasure, and greed stirred in their hearts.
If Okong had not been foolish, we could have shared his fortune, one whispered in the dark. Another leaned forward. Did you not see how fertile the river made the land? If we honor her in secret, perhaps she will reward us. So they began their secret rites. By night they went to the river with jars of palm oil, sacrificed chickens, and chanted for wealth. They did not seek peace, they sought power. And at first it seemed to work. Their farms grew rich, their goats fattened, their granaries overflowed. But their eyes darkened, their dreams grew restless, and soon strange things began to happen. The whispering river. Men fetching water at dawn swore they heard voices, sweet, soft voices singing, but when they leaned closer, pale hands reached up from the depths, pulling at their gourds. Children playing near the banks were dragged into the water by unseen forces, only saved when mothers yanked them back, screaming. Goats disappeared from their pens, later found drowned near the river. At night, the entire village heard it, a lullaby rising from the river. Soft, beautiful, haunting. Chem wept when she heard it, for she knew the voice. It was the song Afia hummed in her sleep. Afia was no longer like other children. Her eyes often glowed faintly in the dark. When she bathed, her skin shimmered like fish scales. She learned to swim without being taught, slipping into water like she belonged there. One evening, as Chem bathed her, Afia turned and whispered, "Mama, the river feels like home." Chem's heart broke. She clutched her child close. "No, this is your home. You are my child." But Afia only smiled faintly, her eyes calm.
The priest's warning. Etam grew weaker with age, but his spirit remained sharp. He summoned the villagers and spoke with grave voice. "There is one among us marked by the river, a child who carries the spirit's claim. If we do not protect her, if we do not honor the truth, the river will return in wrath." The people murmured uneasily. Some glanced at Chem's hut. Etam raised his staff. "Do not let fear guide you. If you harm the innocent, the spirits will destroy us all. Only by humility can we survive." But whispers spread faster than warnings. Fear of Afia. Some villagers pitied Chem, but many feared Afia. "She is not human," one woman hissed. "She will bring ruin upon us all," another said. "Better we cast her into the river before she destroys us all." Soon, a faction formed among the people, led by the greedy elders who still worshipped in secret. They declared Afia must be sacrificed, given to the river to spare the village. Chem clutched her daughter tighter, trembling. Mfam, her son, stood by her protectively, though he was only a boy. Etam defended them with all his strength, but his voice grew weaker. He knew his days were short.